Today is April the 15th. How do we renew our minds? Paul has now ended his theological argument. The first 8 chapters deal with what is salvation. Salvation is God revealing his righteousness in the context of man's unrighteousness. God's righteousness comes by faith, not by works. Then chapters 9 to 11, what about Israel? Even Israel must believe. Even in Israel, God's mercy is extended to those who have faith. Now, starting in chapter 12, he presents some practical elements. The first chapter here deals with general practical issues. Paul slips in suggestion, even orders for the health of the church. He starts with a foundation. Let's read that foundation. Romans 12, verses 1 and 2. I appeal to you, therefore, brothers and sisters, on the basis of God's mercy, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your reasonable act of worship. Don't be conformed to this age, but be transformed by the renewing of the mind, so that you may discern what is the will of God, what's good and acceptable and perfect. Here in the foundation, he says, our desire, the motivating factor of our life, is to please God. He mentions that twice, both in verse 1 and in verse 2. We do that by not conforming to the world around us, whether it's the Jewish world or whether it's the Roman world. Instead, we are to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. There's several parts of the Old Testament that tells us that we need to have a new heart, a new spirit placed within us. But it's in Psalm 1, the psalm that introduces the entire book of Psalm, that David tells us how this takes place. Let's read Psalm 1.
Psalm 1, New Revised Standard Version. Happy are those who do not follow the advice of the wicked, or take the path that sinners tread, or sit in the seat of scoffers. But their delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law they meditate day and night. They are like trees planted by streams of water, which yield their fruit in its season, and their leaves do not wither. In all they do, they prosper. The wicked are not so, but are like chaff that the wind drives away. Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish.
The man who is rooted in the Word will be the faithful one. He's the man that God is looking for. In the rest of the New Testament, renewing the mind is also directly related to reading Scripture, meditating on Scripture, and obeying Scripture. Psalm 1 tells us what the book of Psalms is all about. Learning to meditate on Scripture. Scripture is a foundation for us. It gives us the roots of a tree, not chaff. Scripture gives us food when the air is dry. We draw that food through the stream, not through dry air. Finally, Scripture allows us to bear fruit. Psalm 1 says that tree bears fruit. Its branches don't wither. So what do we do about this today? Read Scripture and meditate on the Scripture that you read. Spend time with it. Let it feed you and direct you. Scripture reading from the New Revised Standard Version by Emily Herrera. If you like what you heard today, subscribe.